Hello and welcome to episode 4 of the Attendance Matters vlog series. So this episode is called Recognizing and Managing Anxiety. As you can probably see, I'm wearing a headset today. I received a little bit of feedback that the volume level was not so great on some of the uploaded videos, so I thought I'd give this a go, try it, see how we get on with it. Right, let's dive in. So anxiety is a natural part of how our brains are wired. It's our body's internal alarm system. It's designed to keep us safe. So when we perceive a threat, even if it is just a perceived threat, our brain sends messages to release chemicals like adrenaline and cortisol. Now, those are stress hormones. They prepare our body to react quickly. Our heart rate goes up, our muscles tense up, we become more alert, and that's kind of the classic fight, flight, or freeze response. For children, though, that can be triggered by things that aren't dangerous in the traditional sense, like speaking in front of the class, being late, worrying about friendships, but their brains interpret these as threats to their well-being or their identity. And over time, if several of these triggers build up, the brain can release so much of those hormones that their brain stays in that heightened state of anxiety. And when that happens, that's sometimes when we start to see students present with physical symptoms, stomach aches, headaches, emotional distress, resistance going to school, things like that. Now, the good news is our bodies, which are hugely complicated things, can also produce calming chemicals. So they produce things like dopamine and oxytocin. So when we feel safe, heard, or reassured, our body releases those hormones. Positive interactions, routine, rest, successful experiences, they all help restore that balance. So the key is reducing the stress triggers and trying to increase the feelings of safety and achievement at the same time. Because sometimes, as I mentioned in the previous video, worries build up. One worry spirals into two, and then they end up like a tangled ball of string. They twist until everything feels overwhelming. What we need to do is try and deal with one of those strings, and that starts to loosen the ball. And then often, once we've done the first one, it gives them the confidence to try and start managing some of the other ones. So today, what I'm going to do is try and provide 10 kind of practical tips to help support you and your child through any school anxiety they might have, in a direct effort really to try and get them to release the feel-good chemicals, the ones that are actually going to help them deal with some of those anxiety issues. So, number one, start with listening. Okay, dopamine is linked to feeling understood and validated. Simply listening calmly without rushing to any solution can help children feel acknowledged. So phrases that sounds tough, I can see why that upset you, without trying to provide a solution, helps them to release dopamine. Number two, use calm language and body cues. Okay, so oxytocin is triggered through warmth, trust, and connection. Oxytocin is most associated with newborn babies, and it's one of the hormones that are released in droves when you cuddle a newborn, because you feel that kind of warm sense of love when you cuddle a newborn baby. Okay, so oxytocin is linked to warmth, trust, and connection. So sit beside them, speak gently, potentially, offer a reassuring hand on their shoulder. Give them a hug if they'll let you. Just let them know that you're on their side. Break the day into smaller chunks. I've kind of mentioned this before when we've talked a little bit about morning routine, but overwhelm causes cortisol to spike, and what you need to do is try help them to feel more in control by focusing on one thing at a time. Let's just get dressed first, or let's get to the school gate and go from there, instead of trying to manage. Obviously, let's say, right, we're going to school, and school obviously is lots of lessons, lots of different things going on. Complete small steps gives them a sense of success, and success releases dopamine. Cognitive load theory suggests that a fully grown adult can only hold around 7 pieces of information in their working memory. Children manage even less, so if your child's asked to do 6 or 7 things one after the other, their brain might simply not have the capacity to cope, especially if they're already feeling anxious, because anxieties are considered one of those things. So therefore, if they're already worrying about 5 things, then they haven't really got any space for anything else. What we need to try and do is obviously remove one of the anxieties, and then we can put a task on that they can then manage. So by reducing tasks to simple, manageable steps, checking them off one by one, you can help ease that mental pressure, and that makes it far more likely that they'll feel confident, capable, and then they'll feel less overwhelmed. Preview the day together, number 4. Okay, so uncertainty fuels anxiety. The night before, or even at breakfast, go through the timetable, talk about the parts of the day they might enjoy, a club, lesson, seeing a friend. If there's a challenge ahead, make a small plan. Planning and predictability can help the brain feel safe. Number 5, create a morning checklist. Dopamine is released when we tick things off and feel a sense of accomplishment. So if you have a checklist and they can tick things off that they've done, that's actually going to release the calming chemicals, and that will hopefully help move things forward. Even if it is, a checklist every morning on the fridge that's got get on your uniform, pack your lunch, pack your bag, and they tick it off as they go, that gives them structure to the morning and gives them little kind of hits of that progress, that dopamine hit that I'm making progress, I'm succeeding. Number 6, use a calm kit. So some students find that having some things with them in their bag can help calm them down. There are things called worry stones. They're just a variety of different things out there. If they have a pet, maybe a picture of a pet, it could be a sensory toy, or it could be even a note from home, something that you've written that, says, we care about you, we want you to do well, and get them to keep that on them. They can serve as an anchor, and that can help them regulate their feelings, reduce panic, and obviously make them feel loved, cared, and that's that oxytocin, which helps to obviously calm your body down as well. Celebrate the wins, no matter how small. So when children overcome something hard, even if it's just getting out of bed, just let them know that you've noticed. Say, I know you didn't want to go in today, but you did. I'm really proud of you, because praise triggers dopamine and it reinforces effort. They'll feel good about the fact that they feel good. They've done it once. If they do it again, they get that same feeling. And obviously sticking to that and doing that repeatedly is obviously going to make them feel good. And that's obviously what we want, so that they can get themselves into school. Stick to routines, but allow a little give. A regular sleep schedule, a consistent wake-up time, calm breakfast, they all tell the brain that things are safe and predictable. And what that does is that lowers your cortisol. But if a day goes wrong, stay calm. Show them that a bad start doesn't mean a bad day or a bad week, and then focus on what we talked about before. Get that checklist and get them to check off some of the things as they go. Because sometimes when obviously they're in a muddle, just having one or two things which have gone exactly the way they need them to gives them enough of that dopamine hit to help them start calm down. Number 9, talk to school staff. You don't have to manage this alone. If you let us know what your child's struggling with, we can put quiet support strategies in place. We don't need to draw attention. Friendly greeting in the morning, permission to step out of class potentially for 5 minutes. We have these tools available. Or it could just be that we organise for them to check in with somebody at break. We have the SSC. It's a place that we encourage students to go before school, break time, lunch time, so that they can have a chat with somebody. And if obviously they need to have a slightly extended talk, to speak to somebody at break or lunch, make a note, and they'll arrange to speak to your child potentially at another point. We don't let students go down there during lessons unless it's an emergency, because obviously we need them in lessons, but it is something we can obviously do to organise to speak to them should we need to. Then the last one, number 10, keep a positive tone about school. Even if you have frustrations or you're worried, try and avoid speaking negatively about school in front of your child. Frame school as a place where people care about them, where they are supported. That's the truth. We absolutely care, and obviously we want to work with you as much as possible to try and do the best by your child. Your calm confidence helps them build their own. Okay, so if you are confident about school and you're positive about school, they will inherit those feelings, and then they'll be able to turn that round and obviously build their own confidence about school as well. Your child's feelings matter, and so does their education. You're not alone. Work with us, and together we can help them move from worry to confidence, just one small step at a time. Okay, thank you very much.